Hey, it's John F. Gately. Welcome back to the channel. We just came off Easter, which was great, and many other people are observing their religious holidays. And of course, religious freedom is a fundamental aspect of the American experience. I'm broadcasting to you today from Plymouth, America's hometown. And of course, Plymouth was literally founded by people who wanted to leave England so they could come to some place where they wouldn't be bothered by the government to pursue their religious beliefs. And right? That's why the pilgrims, that's why they call them pilgrims, religious pilgrims, they were religious pilgrims, came here to beautiful Plymouth and actually founded the Plymouth colony right on the street that I'm located on here. So when we read stories like this from Fox News in February, purported FBI documents suggest agency may be targeting Catholics who attend Latin Mass, you start to think that maybe the government is starting to interfere with our religious beliefs. And of course, we also had many interruptions to religious ceremonies during the lockdown, right? During the lockdown, you could go to Walmart, but you couldn't go to church, right? Wow, funny how that worked out. And also today, we are learning that, pull up that certain phrases. Now, these are not phrases that I tend to use, but definitely are out there in the internet. People I read use them all the time. The FBI apparently is basing or categorizing comments like red pill and based as tied to extremism. So, yeah, I don't typically use those phrases, but if you do, you're potentially an extremist. And, I mean, what is the FBI up to? So we understand further today what, in fact, the FBI is up to. This is a very explosive report from Jim Jordan in the House of Representatives. FBI used undercover agent to target Catholic Church, according to Jim Jordan. Let's get into the story. This is on Newsweek, but, you know, they're the only ones that actually have written the story so far. This is just breaking. The Federal Bureau of Investigation allegedly used an undercover agent to target the clergy and leadership of the Catholic Church. This is like literally why the Pilgrims came to the United States, or what was then the New World, right? Jordan issued a subpoena for FBI Director Wray related to his committee investigation into the FBI's alleged targeting of Catholic parishioners. The Republican insisted that enlisting clergy to monitor their own parishes prevents Americans who attend church from being able to exercise their First Amendment rights. Bingo, that's exactly what it does. The FBI allegedly used an undercover agent to target the clergy and leadership of Catholic Church, according to Representative Jim Jordan. Now, if we bring up the next slide here, this is from Josh Hawley. I specifically asked Merrick Garland, who's obviously the United States Attorney General, whether the FBI was targeting Catholic parishes, and he said no. Now it turns out the FBI was using undercover sources in multiple parishes. So, hey, you might say to yourself, well, it's okay if they're, targeting the Proud Boys or something like that because they're terrorists. Well, I know the Catholic Church has a mixed track record on some items, but are we terrorists? Are us Catholics? And I'm nominally a Catholic. Are we terrorists that we have to be infiltrated by the FBI? And when I say I'm nominal Catholic, there's the sign at the church, which is right up the street from my house, and it says, "You're always welcome back." I swear in small letters it says, "Except for you, Jack." So I could be much better in attending church. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm not faithful, but I'm not a regular churchgoer, to be fair. Although I should be working on that. So, anyways, here is the letter from Jim Jordan. It's explosive. The Committee on the Judiciary is conducting oversight of the Federal Bureau of Investigation handling of domestic and violent extremism investigations against Catholic Americans and its effect on First Amendment activity. Based on the limited information produced by the FBI to the committee, in other words, they wanted much more information but didn't get it, we now know the FBI relied on at least one undercover agent to produce its analysis, and that the FBI proposed that its agents engage in outreach to Catholic parishes to develop sources among the clergy and church leadership to inform on Americans practicing their faith. There is nothing more fundamentally un-American than what the FBI is doing right now, investigating Catholic Church and its parishioners. That was my editorial, by the way. This shocking information, and it is shocking, reinforces our need of all responsive documents, and the committee is issuing a subpoena to you to compel your full cooperation. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. As AOC said the other day, the enforcement of these things is up to the Biden administration, right? You can ignore Congress, but if the Biden administration doesn't enforce it, then that's the way it goes. We have repeatedly sought information, and this is relative to the FBI dragging their feet, from the FBI relating to the January 23rd document generated by the Richmond Field Office entitled "Interest of Racially or in Ethnically Motivated Violent Extremists in Radical Traditional Catholic Ideology." Almost certainly presents new mitigation opportunities. So that is the document which spawned the February news articles that we just talked about at the beginning of the show. The FBI's Richmond document. In this document, the FBI is purported to categorize Catholic Americans based upon theological distinctions and relied upon the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is, as you know, a hate group, to suggest that certain kinds of Catholic Americans may be domestic terrorists. This reminds me as well of the school board situation, right, where the unions asked the Biden administration to categorize people who went to the school boards to speak their mind as terrorists. It's a very similar type of vein to it. On February 16th, we first wrote to you requesting the documents relative to our oversight. Let's see if we can get to page 2. Here we go, as Paul Harvey would say. And now, page, how did he say that? Page 2? That's better. I loved him. All right, where did it go? Hold on a second. Let's bring it back here. In addition, the limited information was provided to the committee makes clear that we must possess all responsive material without redactions. From this selective production, we know that the FBI, relying on information derived from at least one undercover employee. In other words, they turned somebody. They turned informant. They're working Catholic employees and or priests to become informants for the FBI. That's China level, right? That's Russian Stalinist level. I have a real visceral reaction to that. That is China level, Russia level type of activity on behalf of our so-called our own FBI. In addition to engage in the outreach to leadership of the Society of St. Paul X Chapel in the Richmond area, to sensitize these congregations to a warning sign of radicalization. That's better. And to list their assistants to serve as suspicious activity tripwires. They're enlisting Catholic parishioners, priests, and employees of the Catholic Church to serve as suspicious activity tripwires. Well, see something, say something, of course. I mean, if there's something that's going to go down that is going to be, a terrorist activity, you should definitely see something, say something. But to proactively investigate a religion is way over the bounds, And that includes, for to be completely ACLU-ish or libertarian about it, any religion, Islamic or otherwise, you have to have what's known as probable cause. The FBI similarly noted 2 other opportunities to gain outreach with religious institutions in the Richmond area, citing a desire to, quote, sensitize the congregation to the warning signs of radicalization and to act as tripwires, as we mentioned. This outreach even included contacting so-called mainline Catholic parishes. So the FBI has broken the Catholic religion, Catholic faith, into the terrorists and the mainline Catholics. And a local diocesan leadership. The FBI also expressed interest in leveraging. They're turning priests and others to be informants. Existing sources and or initiating type 5 assessments. I'm not sure what that means. To develop new, I don't like how it sounds, but I don't know what it means. New sources with the placement and access to report on suspicious activity. This information is outrageous and only reinforces the committee's need to receive all the information, which they've said like 5 times. Documents produced to date show the FBI sought to enlist Catholic houses of worship as potential sources to monitor and report on their own parishioners. Yeah, I know we've done this in mosques after 9/11, of course, and a lot of that was wrong. And some of it was based upon probable cause, but a lot of it was wrong. And it's wrong now here, too. Americans attend church to worship and congregate for their spiritual and personal betterment. They must be free to exercise their First Amendment rights without worrying that the FBI may have planted a tripwire or other enforcements in their houses of worship. The FBI claims to have numerous and rigorous protections relative to the First Amendment. It doesn't seem like it. Oh, by the way, yes, please, if you could, that'd be great. Thank you. I'm really glad Jim Jordan is on this. Josh Hawley is on this, apparently. And this is a fundamental aspect or threat to our First Amendment freedom of religion. Literally the first thing that, or the fundamental reason why people came here in 1620, not this whole 1619 thing, 1620 was freedom for religion. Is our a perfect country since then? Everything the pilgrims do and their descendants be without sin? Of course not. There's a lot of sins, a lot of bad things happen because of the bill. I get that. But now we have a country, thank God, that we do have the First Amendment and the right to freedom of religion. And we should not, under any way, shape, or form, tolerate the FBI infiltrating Catholic churches or any other faith without significant probable cause to believe that a crime is imminently about to occur. All right, so I'm John F. Gately from Plymouth, America's hometown in Massachusetts. Have a great day.